Welcome back. As you can probably tell, we're at a new location. We're at the Roots and Shoots Nursery here in West Ashley. And if you're just joining us, I'm Claudia Landis, and welcome to this special on the WCBD Plus app. So now we're going to talk to Roots and Shoots. They're going to tell us all about local and native plant species here around South Carolina and the Low Country. Let's go ahead and dig in. Tucked in West Ashley, plant lovers can find Roots and Shoots, a nursery that offers native plants and southern fruits. With over 250 varieties of plants that thrive in the Southeast, from flowers, trees, shrubs, vines, fruits, and veggies, you name it, and they probably got it. It's a place rooted in sustainability, providing plants and supplies to help others cultivate vibrant landscapes that support wildlife and enrich our planet. Owner David Manger tells us more about their mission.
Our mission here is to breathe life into landscapes so people and nature can flourish together.
And with their motto, "Give your garden wings," they most certainly do. David tells us how Roots and Shoots does just that.
Well, we provide all the things that our wildlife needs to thrive in the yard. So when you use our native plants, your yard comes to life with beautiful wings and animals and creature and motion. So it's more than just kind of a pretty scene like a painting. It's a yard that does things for us and then everything else as well.
And your yard might not always look the same, because as the seasons change, the native plant species that thrive in South Carolina change as well. David talks to us about that transition and how to best prepare.
I would say summer is transitioning from summer into fall. Summer is a time where you have lots of rampant growth. A lot of times you get your weeds in your gardens and all that kind of stuff. So once you kind of get that under control, you're also trying to re-nourish that soil and kind of get all the other plants that you're trying to usher into a nice winter with. You want to get them filled with nutrients and nice and happy. So composting, getting your beds prepped up with mulch, or what we oftentimes really promote is breaking your leaves up and putting them back into your garden beds instead of putting them on the curb. That just immediately puts all your nutrients right back in the ground where they belong and where the plants could use them.
Now he shares some native plants that we can expect to see this fall.
So fall is a big one, especially for our insects, because they are kind of gearing up to go into winter, which is the time of famine. And with that kind of evolution with our insects and plants, that is also a really big time for nectar production. And so you see tons and tons of blooming things in the fall. We have goldenrods, we have kind of a bunch of hibiscus, and a lot of our bushes start to bloom in the fall as well. And there's really cool names like horsemint and our asters and just like a lot of very interesting things. And you can find them all here.
So David talks to us about the big three things that impact plant growth for anyone interested in growing native plants.
The big three for plants in terms of what's going to impact you is going to be your soil, your sun, and your water. So here in the Low Country, we have a weird environment. A lot of soils are really sandy. Other ones are really clay. So even though it's not the same plant, if you're in South Carolina and you're looking for plants, you're going to find a native plant that's going to be cut out for that space in the best way possible.
And if you're looking for native plants, Roots and Shoots got you covered. David gives us a tour of the nursery so we can get a small glimpse of the native plants we have in the Low Country.
This is Roots and Shoots. The way we have everything laid out is we have a large oak tree, and as you get towards the middle of the oak tree, everything is kind of the more shady plants, and as we come into the sun, would be all of our full sun flowers and fruit trees and things like that. First couple beds, this is the more aquatic-y type things. They like ditches and pretty consistent moisture. Great in the Low Country. Usually there's water to be found somewhere hanging around. So these are the plants that are cut out for that. This is one of our native hibiscus, and cute little thing. Just starting to bloom. This whole plant usually gets loaded up with these pink flowers. This direction, we call this the boardwalk, and the boardwalk is filled with most of our native perennials. And the cool part about this is we really like to have plants that are going to be blooming throughout the year, and we don't just have them for sale when they're blooming. So you can kind of come in and set the stage for your fall garden or your spring garden any time of year that you want to. I'd say most people too think that when they think of natives, they think of like the scrappy little ditch weeds and things like that. But these days, there's so many natives available to folks just looking for plants. That is a huge misconception. You can find anything, any color, any shape, any size, and it's really fun just to kind of see people become more and more interested in it. Down here are some grasses that we have. These are big grasses, and a big grasshopper just jumped out of there too.
Look at this.
Little Gulf fritillary. This butterfly only has one plant that the caterpillars could feed on, which is a native plant. Over here, that's called purple passion flower. We just passed our fruit trees, everybody. But we've got citruses and peaches and plums and pears. No pears anymore, I suppose. But pomegranates, bananas. We're at this really cool inflection point here in the Low Country where we can grow a lot of tropical stuff and also grow a lot of things more northerly from us, and you could really get productive in your yard. Noticing a change in sun, we are entering the more shade world. Watch your head, everybody. This is a purple passion flower. This is the larval food source for that orange butterfly we saw. Let's see if you can find a caterpillar for you. This is not quite a fully open bloom, but the flowers are really pretty on it as well.
Oh wow, those are gorgeous.
And we'll just move. I don't see any caterpillars off. But there is a warning here. Your plants might come with caterpillars.
Mm-hmm.
Follow me this way. Let's go check this out. Over here, one of my favorite bushes is American beautyberry. Gets these huge groups of magenta, purple berries in the fall. Great landscaping plant. It stays kind of nice height, looks pretty. Birds like the berries in the fall. Also, this is a really popular one. Not blooming now. You can kind of see an older smint bloom, but this is oak leaf hydrangea. It's our one, really, the native hydrangea that you'll see here in the Low Country. Sometimes we keep our stuff in kiddie pools. These are plants that really like it wet. So we have willows, we have buttonbush, all names you might not know yet, but you should look them up. And those are the ones, again, it's kind of suited for like a Low Country ditch and places like that. As you and many other people might have a humongous oak tree in your yard or something really shady, these are the plants that can cut the mustard underneath it and still kind of give you a lush yard without just, pine straw and grass coming up to it. So this is a little bit more shady things. A lot of stuff could bloom in the shade, which is a little bit of an anomaly in plants. Usually, I would say the more sun you have, the more blooms you get. Here's one of our native fruit trees. This is the pawpaw. Cute little plant. Has more of a tropical fruit than it produces.
I actually have a pawpaw tree.
You do? Cool.
Yeah.
Ignore this. This is, if you like houseplants and you have an inside and an outside, this is where you should come and get some houseplants. But we mainly promote the native stuff. So you can find a few other things too.
Very pretty.
Yeah, they're always pretty. Nothing's wrong with having plants inside too.
Oh no.
Over here, you want to get a little snapshot? Yes, you could buy a fern if you want to. That's a southern shield fern. And this here too is this a good? I don't know. Well, I was going to show you. This one doesn't have any blooms on it, but mountain mint is it's in the mint family, so it's kind of a spready plant, but it's an amazing pollinator plant. Even though the bloom isn't showy, any given day when it is blooming, you'll see hundreds of little things trying to feed off of it, and you can find that with a lot of plants that we have here.
After hearing all the varieties of plants that Roots and Shoots has to offer, they sure do have options to give your garden wings. And if you want to take any of these plants that you saw home today, you can visit them in West Ashley.